Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 352 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gaming podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander. I'm joined this week, as most weeks, by Daff and Moody.
Because no other sucker wants to be here.
Mr. I'm going to take a 5-month holiday.
Right. When did I take a 5-month holiday?
Well, that's what it felt like last year.
I was working. I can't do anything about that.
No one wants to turn on it, really. I think you'll find the only time we missed a podcast is when somebody had COVID.
That's not my fault.
And you were all like, "Oh, I'm gonna be in Liverpool. I'm not gonna be here. No podcast. You're gonna have to stress out about getting guests every week." Not one of the fucker wants to be here.
It's just been you and me for a few weeks now.
That's because I'm sick of everybody else.
All right then.
Don't tell them I said that.
You know this is going out, right?
Yeah, but
none of those. Mute that out.
None of those fools will listen to it.
Oh bless! It's Monday. It's not Monday. It's Friday, everybody. You know what that means? It's video game day. Yay!
The one and only one day you can play video games.
Yeah, exactly.
How are you?
I'm all right. Had a all right week. Pretty chill, really. Just powering on, working, powering on, working, powering on, working. Nothing much. How are you?
My back hurts.
Okay. What else is new?
The ladybug fell over as we were starting to record, and I turned around and put it back up, and I thought, no, that's an accurate representation of where I'm at right now. So I'm leaving it.
Okay. I am sorry that you're still in pain.
So am I.
With your back.
So
and saw. And everything.
I'm very, very frustrated.
Isn't everybody in life? Let's just be frank. We're all frustrated in our lives.
I wish,
in one way or another.
I wish for this pain to fuck off now. Fuck off and leave me alone. How about that? But no. Back has to be the highway that the entire body uses. Like, fucking, you never know how much you use your back until you fucking, until you fucking hurt it. And then you're like, oh, I use this for everything.
So right now you would say your back is a highway to hell, right?
Yeah, I would. That's good. That's good. I hate my life and everything in it.
Well, I wish I could give. I'll give you a sympathetic high five.
Okay. I thought you were gonna be like, "I'll give you a hug." I was like,
no,
"You fucking won't."
I'm going to high five.
Come at me with a hug. I'll fucking stab you with a fork.
I can be a gentle hugger.
Oh yeah, that's what the last person said. Fucking my auntie was all like, "Oh, because she has to have a hug," and it's like, okay, fine. But you know, I've hurt my back, right? It's all right. It'll be gentle.
Amy died inside.
Let go.
Oh no. This is how I go.
Get your fucking hands off me.
By a hug by my auntie.
It's not fair.
I knew she would do it one day.
It's not fair, Moody. What did I do to deserve all of this?
You should have lifted with your knees.
I did.
Right. You should not have lifted with your knees.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing is, I hear like everyone says, you do the training after that, lift with your knees, lift with your knees, lift with your knees. Half the time I hear people say they lift over their knees, they're the ones with the back problem. Oh, my neck, my back. Oh.
It can happen to anybody.
You shouldn't have lifted with your knees.
Shouldn't have lifted.
If I'm ever in one of those training sessions again, I'm saying, fuck you, mate. I've seen friends who've lifted with their knees and have broke their backs, I'm going to lift with my back.
Break it faster. Look, let's just get this over with, all right?
There we go. Thank you. Okay. Time to walk away. Kinda.
I've had some bad news on that front for you, Moody.
Okay, now just to stand here like this.
Like a turtle on its back.
Oh, bless you.
Oh, it's fine. Got the chair. I didn't put the chair away today, so the rocker chair is still deployed. As soon as it's the literal second we have finished this recording, I'm going to park myself in it.
You're rolling into it, are you?
Takes me. Do you know if I want to roll over when I'm in bed, it takes time and effort now. If I'm like, oh, I need to go on my other side, it's like it's a whole thing.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
buddy, we're
Here we
going to do this in stages.
Yeah.
Stage number 1.
Breathe and
Breathe.
then you go onto your back. Right, we just wait here for a minute.
You're like in a traffic light system. It's on red. Can't move right now, guys.
Yeah. Basically.
It's on red and amber. Still can't move, guys. It's green. Okay. Shut up behind me. If someone was beeping at you.
Beep. Fuck you.
This takes time and effort.
Yeah. That was my morning.
Oh, bless you. Man.
Bless me indeed. That's it. I don't have any fun stories about anything I've done because I just don't do anything anymore.
Life has no meaning.
Life has destroyed me.
The birds are flying away.
I walked in the door yesterday from being outside. Was it yesterday? It must have been yesterday. And there was just like black bird feathers, like just in front of my door.
What are you thinking that was an omen?
Maybe.
Well, that's a bad sign.
Oh, great. Now what?
Oh, bless.
Ever since I caught COVID last year, I feel like COVID was less of a virus and more of a curse.
Yeah, you had the shit kicked out of you when it
Yeah.
comes to illness since COVID.
Like, yeah, I got sick many times, and obviously I've done this, and I don't know, like life has just tried its best to kill me in the past 13 months.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, give or take. Maybe it was like, maybe it's like I got cursed. Maybe I was playing Faz and I did something and I got cursed, you know, like crossed over into reality. Like the ghost isn't strong enough to like manifest itself and actually haunt me, so it's just cursing me.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
Ryan
that's
did
what it
this.
does.
Maybe Ryan did this.
Bloody Ryan.
Ryan is into that kind of shit.
He is a crazy man, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he was just like, oh, we don't play Among Us anymore. I'm mad at you for that, Amy. And then he just went, poo. And I was like, he did his little fucking incantations and stuff with his little hooded robe on. Voodoo. Like the doll.
Someone holding a doll just pricking you.
Well, all we have to do there is make a list of people who I could possibly have pissed off a year ago. I'm sure it'll be a short list.
I don't know, like.
Sure, it'll be easy to figure out. Oh, wait, what do you mean it doesn't fit in a Google Doc? I thought those things were supposed to be infinite.
Oh, God.
Life. But, you know, as long as I tackle these things with my trademark humor, is anything really, is everything really all that bad?
That's it.
Yeah, no, don't do that. When I actually did my back in, I was lying on the ground in pain, but also just cracking on jokes and stuff. Because what else are you gonna do? If
That's
you don't
true.
laugh, you'll cry. And in that moment, that was literally true. It's like, I'm masking the
If I don't
pain.
start putting jokes, I'll start crying because it's so much pain.
Ha ha ha. That was in my internal monologue. Ah, why?
Why me? Why me?
But yeah, no, I've been playing video games.
So far?
I'm sure every time you say that, I'm like,
No, not the ones at work. I mean,
I know, no,
so
because you don't mention the ones at work, obviously. But like, so when you come in here and you're like, I've been playing video games, I'm always like, oh my god, he's playing video games
Dun, dun, dun.
for fun,
Well,
for recreation and entertainment. I know, like, yeah. Just try Redfall. That's fun.
That's royally fucked up Alpha in Fantasy Critic, that game.
These things
I was so
happen.
tempted to counter pick it when we were picking ages ago. but I
Nah,
was
you
just
don't
thinking,
want to do
nah.
something like that. That's double-edged sword, isn't it? In hindsight, yeah, sure, it would have been a great idea.
Oh, yeah,
but,
looking back on it now, you're just thinking, oh, 40, I had the guts.
But what?
40, I had the guts.
But what if? What if?
But what if it gets a 90 and it just completely cripples me in my in my fight to get my title back? So
Yeah, which is a lot closer than it has been ever.
I think everyone will die off and it'll just be you
Ever.
and me by the end. You know that.
Well, we'll get into it later because we have a very special Fantasy Critic update to update everybody with.
The special one.
It's
special.
It's very special.
That's not.
Yes, it is.
That's not.
It fucking is. Just because it's not you at the top.
I don't care if it's not me at the top. I just think it's not that special.
I think, yeah, well, look, right? It's the 4th year, and he's never been more than last. So I think it's pretty fucking special, all right? He starts the year and falls into last place before anyone else even has any games come out half the time.
That is true. That is true. All right. Crack on to video games, Amy. What are we talking about? For
Legend
the
of
main
Zelda.
topic of the words about games.
We're talking about, you'll be shocked to know this, because I'm sure nobody else in video games is talking about this right now, this topic right now. We're talking about Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Breath of the Wild 2. Cool.
Stop it. Please. Just for this bit. Otherwise, it's going to get really annoying.
Stop it or continue to be annoying.
My back. Please don't.
All right.
Oh, wow, that worked. Interesting. I have a new superpower.
No, it's just I'm not a jerk. You asked.
Maybe I'll try that on Saturday. Oh, but my back, guys, my back.
Watch off!
Stop. Yeah, but come on, have some sympathy for me. We saw you. You were standing over the corpse with a bloody knife in your hand. Yeah, no, but my back, please. It's hurting so much.
Vote the corpse out.
Oh, okay, then. We'll let you off. Oh, dear.
I'd love to see you try that.
Challenge accepted.
Love it.
I was looking through. Someone put some comments on some old posts on the blog, and one of them they put it on. This is relevant to what you just said. One of them they put it on was that thing me and Keith used to do years and years ago, where it was a friendly debate where we debated our way into making weird top 5 lists. And you won't remember this because you don't remember what happened last week. Never mind, years ago.
That is very much fair.
And when one of the videos that we did was top 5 most underrated games of all time.
I think I've heard you say this before.
And
Keith came up with something crazy, didn't he?
No, you
Or
did.
was it you?
You did.
I did.
You told me you tried. So like the idea was.
Oh yes.
The idea was we make arguments for why, in this case, the games that we selected were underrated.
Yeah.
And I was telling you about this concept on Twitch, and you said, "Oh, but you'd never be able to argue that Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild is underrated." And I went, challenge accepted. And then in the thing, I actually did try and make the argument that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was underrated.
Hell yeah.
And the entire time, Keith just looked at me like, what the fuck are you doing?
Isn't that the look Keith gives everybody, though?
Look, right, it's
What
one
are
of
you doing?
it's one of the best reviewed games in history, but it didn't get 100. Amy, I thought you didn't like Breath of the Wild that much. That's not the point. That's not what this.
Thank you for the other argument. I didn't like it, so it's not perfect. So it's underrated.
That's not what this video is about, Keith. My opinions do not enter into this in the slightest. I mean, it got cut straight away, but I tried. You asked me to try, and I tried.
Loves a try, yeah. Amy, I think you should try it now with Tears of the Kingdom. With King off one last time.
Just get Keith on. We should bring friendly debates back. It was always funny to do those, especially the really weird ones. There was an episode we did where we were debating the top 5 weirdest video game controllers. And there's been some fucking weird video game controllers in history. I think I lost my mind at the chainsaw controller for Resident Evil 4. Or the bowling ball controller for the Wii. It was literally a bowling ball.
There is some crazy controllers out there. There's no doubt about it.
But anyway, that was a time. Just when you challenged me there, I like to do something that was never going to work, but I'd do it anyway.
It was a win-win for me.
But yeah, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. It came out last week. I don't think anyone's noticed.
Nope.
It's kind of everywhere at the moment. Everyone's
much, yeah.
playing it. Everyone's talking about it. I'm sitting there playing on my Switch.
I'm not playing it.
Well, you don't play video games anymore.
I know.
This game is longer than 20 minutes long. Nah. Skip.
If I can't beat it within my first 2 hours at work, it's not good enough.
Yeah, no, it's like I'll be playing it on Switch. I'm sitting on my Switch playing it, and like I've never seen the like when it comes up like such and such has started playing a game on Switch in the top corner. I've never seen that go off so many times as I have in the last week.
Wait.
And it's all the same game.
I'm curious before we get into it. How are you finding it?
Yeah, so I've played, I don't know how much time. Time is meaningless when you can't move.
Crippled.
Yeah, Crypt. Fucked.
Crypt. Fucked over.
Destroyed.
An old woman with a can.
No cane. I could do with a cane. I could do with a cane. I have to borrow yours when I come down.
I have two. So.
Oh, well, are they matching?
Yes, the purple. Both purple.
Fantastic. We've got matching canes. I'm going to use it even if I don't need it. Yeah, I mean, we'll get some cracking pictures out of that. Yeah, I played it. I don't know. I played it for about 20 hours, maybe.
20 hours? Bloody hell, Amy.
Yeah.
Well, time is relevant for you right now.
I haven't had a lot to do.
Yeah, that's true.
20 hours is probably on a low. But no, like it's I'm enjoying it a lot more than I enjoyed Breath of the Wild. This is famously for context. Obviously, I reviewed it way back when I bought my Switch in the summer of 2017. I got Breath of the Wild with it, and I thought it was okay. But it annoyed me, so I stopped playing it at some point. I don't remember how far into it. And then I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom, and I thought, oh no, it's happening again. Because it's got this really long, big opening tutorial area. And it like leads you through, and you do this, and you do that. And I was like, it's not great. It's like... and even that's controversial because I've heard people going and saying, I was in the tutorial area for 6 hours because I was finding it so great. And I was like, shit this. Literally, I was sat here just going, this is
rockabye, baby.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, not again. Not again, the Zelda fans. No. But you jump off of that because it's a sky island. When you jump off and land in a pool of water, which is I think that's how real world physics works, and then started doing like did the main quest for a bit to orient myself, because I always do that when you dropped in this giant open world where it's like, oh, you can go anywhere and do anything. I'm like, right, well, obviously that's too overwhelming for me right now. So I'm going to follow the main quest for a bit, and then you slowly get hold of like the experience. So then I've just spent the last 10 hours just like bombing around, like doing side stuff, exploring, like having a look around, and really getting into it. There's a whole underground section. It's like Elden Ring all over again, a surprise underground map where it's like, oh, there's a big hole, go jump in it. And because you're Link, you go, okay, and then you jump into a big hole. Because that's how Link approaches everything, I've noticed. It's just like, hey, go do this really, really stupid thing. No probs. I mean, towers are a lot more fun. Instead of climbing a tower to unlock the region of the map, you walk into it and you push a button and it fires you into the air. Like way up into the sky. And I was like, this is way better than climbing a tower. Take notes, Assassin's Creed. Fire me into the air like a cannon. Don't make me climb. But no, yeah, I'm not gonna like go in like full review mode of things about the game. But no, I haven't. I put it in there because I thought you would be curious. Because yeah, like I did get it. I did play it. I've been playing it. I'm gonna keep playing it. The weapon degradation system isn't as annoying in this game.
Oh, that's good.
It still exists.
A lot of people were really annoyed by the weapon
because it sucked. In Breath of the Wild, it was awful. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And then you would end up being like, I'm fighting a boss, but all I have is a tree branch. And you'd be like, great. Waving a tree branch at a giant. But in this one, you've got, because you get like, I don't know, like again, Breath of the Wild was a game I barely played, like, and engaged with 6 years ago. But I think most of the abilities, if not all the abilities that Link gets in this game are new. And one of them is Fuse, which is you can basically combine two items together.
Yeah, it's the main thing they've been pushing.
So that's Ultra Hand, which is like the building mechanics, which we'll get into. But
when you review it, not right now.
Yeah. But Fuse is you have a sword. Like, let's say you pick up a sword, but it's shit because it's going to break really easily. But like, there's like you can fuse it with an item. And it increases its durability, but also increases its power. So you don't like even if you pick up a stick, but then fuse it with a horn, like that fell off of an enemy, it makes the weapon viable to use. So like no matter what weapons you've got in your pockets, you can fuse it with other stuff to make them usable. Which to me alleviates a huge issue I had with Breath of the Wild.
Nice.
In terms of my enjoyment, so. That's nice. Plus, you can just make stupid. Like you can fuse a sword to a minecart, a full size minecart, and you can swing it around like a big weapon.
That sounds awesome.
Because it is. Like it's only like limited by your imagination, I guess. Like very early on, like you could do mining, right? Which is like, there's some walls that you can break with explosions or with a stone axe that you get very early on. And like, there's like mining nodes where you can hit for resources and rocks and shit like that. And like, you could do the stone axe. And I was like, cool, I got to be very careful with this stone axe because I don't want it to break because it's the only thing you can use to break all of these walls apart. And then I attached a battered old sword to a boulder. Or rather, a boulder to a battered old sword, and it does the same job. So then I was like, oh shit, you just attach rocks to weapons and it turns them into mining tools. And again, that's way better, because it's like, now it's like, if my stone axe breaks, which, obviously it did at some point, I was like, okay, cool. And I'd look around and it'd be like, there's a rock over there, and I've got a shitty old sword. So you do the fuse thing, and you're like, right, keep going. And you can
keep going.
Because like, I found this secret tunnel, and it required like a lot of like digging through to get through all the secret walls and stuff. And instead of having to constantly keep going back and getting appropriate weapons every time they broke. It would just be like, cool, there's like swords and shit lying around all over here. So it's just like, okay, I've ran out. There's a sword here and a rock here. Cool, and I can keep going. And I was just...
Productive. Sounds productive, Amy.
It's just... It was a system that pissed me off more and more as time went in, and they haven't replaced it or removed it, but they've made it to the point where it doesn't piss me off anymore.
I am no longer angry. That is a bonus.
You fixed it. Well done.
Well done to you.
I'd still prefer that weapon degradation just wasn't a thing, but this is a nice compromise. I can live with this.
That's good.
Because I hate weapon degradation in video games. It's stupid. It's pointless. Oh, this sword broke after 12 hits. Like a real world sword.
Exactly.
Because that's how they work, right?
That's how the medievals did it. Like when they all broke their swords, they stopped, went over and picked up another one, and walked back in.
Just like the referee comes out, like blows the whistle, like whoop 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 whoop.
Yellow card.
Replenish your weapons, and we'll go again. Like, yeah. But yeah, it's so The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Amy's initial stamp of approval.
That's always a bonus.
Yeah. I mean, I could spend the rest of the time telling all of the stupid shit I've done. Like,
cool.
Because the shenanigan, the potential for shenanigans in Tears of the Kingdom is extremely high.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Accidental shenanigans is fun.
But what else has happened for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Amy?
Well, it's got an OpenCritic average of 97, which we knew last week. It didn't drop, and that means it is currently one of the best reviewed games on the site. One of the greatest games of all time, some might say. OpenCritic might say.
Till Steph Sterling drops their review, and then boom, 96.
I mean, I don't want to put numbers in their mouth, but
some sycophants are waiting to like. No.
Oh, definitely.
What are they gonna do?
Well,
but I'm being nice saying what are they gonna do because you just know they would be a bigoted bastard and saying all the words and everything towards them. But no, yeah, it's wow, congratulations! Like we want to hear great things like this for us, not only for the critic review and everything like that, but it seems like it's a consensus throughout the everyone who's playing it and whatnot. Friend of ours, Joe Medforce, I was in his chat when he started playing it, and he was just like giddy like a little boy, like he opened up his first Nintendo. He was like all over it, and he was like, and it seems like he's like really having fun to what I saw and everything. He's like, he wants to come on and do the review and whatnot.
Yeah, we've been talking. We've got there are things in motion.
But no, yeah, it's like as much as I take the piss out of the name and everything like that. Like I'm generally over the moon for people, and generally over the moon for the developer of the team and the team. All their hard sweat and everything what they've poured into this to get it out in an incredible state is a testament to them, and like well done to them, and I'm so happy for them.
Yeah, like as well as like the fact that they did the one thing you should never. They added the one thing to the game that you should never add, which is physics. Like you constructing all of these objects using the in-game physics. Mm-hmm. That must be a nightmare. Like from a development standpoint, a design standpoint, from an implementation standpoint, and then just testing. Like, because like even obviously and it's like I'm explaining this like generally. I'm not explaining your own job to you, but it's like you've got to figure out all of the different ways a player can enter a room. To make sure that there's no bugs, right? But then it's like, in Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is like, unleash your creativity, and use all of these items to make whatever the fuck you want. There must have been a tester department at Nintendo EPD that was just like, what? You want us to test what?
That's why I honestly believe that this game has been World's been done for 2 years.
Yeah.
They've done nothing but bug for the last 2 years. I truly believe that. Until they come out and confirm that I'm wrong here and everything like that, and I have no evidence to say that I'm right here whatsoever. Which is, I'm only going off the evidence that I have, like working on a Nintendo Switch and everything when I'm testing and everything like that.
I'd love to see the bug reports.
It's fucking insane when it comes to like Nintendo Switch is like, it's fucking, it was old when it came out, for God's sakes.
How this game functions. Like, I don't know how this game works.
Yeah.
Like, you can stand, like, you can climb a massive hill in one part of the map and see all the way across the map. Because, like, you get your telescope out so you can look around. But, like, as you're looking around, if you see something in the distance, you can drop a pin on it in the game world. And then that drops a pin on your map. And I've been doing this thing where I've been looking and going, I can just about see a shrine over there. I wonder how far away it is. And I'll drop a pin on it, then I'll open the map and I'll be like, it's on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
I can see it. How can I see it?
That's the thing about it. Like, I want, like, there was, like, obviously rumors and everything about a Switch 2 and everything, or whatever their next console's going to be and everything like that. But I truly believe this is probably their swan song to the Switch. We are probably going to eventually hear something between now and say their physical year next year, so April. I do truly believe that now, which will be nothing but fantastic to hear, and everything like that. So we'll see what happens for it. Like, they obviously know they've got something in planned and everything, and then they'll obviously remaster this.
Yeah.
Fuck it. It's already ready for the new console. Let's just be frank here. It's probably ready. That's what they were building it for. It was just obviously backwards compatible and whatnot. And so, but no, yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm so happy for everybody for who is a Zelda fan, who's a Nintendo fan, who is like, this is what we want to be talking about. Like when we were talking about a couple of weeks ago about like Microsoft's like the 2 weeks shit that they had and everything like that. We don't want to be talking about like them in a bad way or negative that's happening around them right now. We want to be talking about and championing all the things that they're doing great. Game Pass.
Yeah, I don't want to come on a podcast and be like, so played Zelda.
A dick, yeah,
it sucks. Yeah. Like, you know, like with Redfall. A couple of weeks ago, it was like, I played Redfall. It wasn't a great experience.
Yeah.
But now I get to come on a podcast and be like, Zelda!
yeah. That's great. Like, last week, I hated bashing on Star Wars last week. I love Star Wars. I love and hate it. I'm in a love and hate relationship. I think everyone is really these days when it comes to Star Wars. And like I've been like championing like a lot of things of like what I've been really enjoying. I always talk about it when I'm on here. Like I've really enjoying a lot of things right now when it comes to the Star Wars. But this is last week when we were talking about. I was just so gutted that I just did not enjoy it. And I'm over the moon that people are. It's selling really well and everything whatnot. And just like this is sold 10 million copies in 3 days. That's amazing. Just think, at the beginning of the Switch, Zelda was probably for a lot of people, I'm only going off for a lot of people who were like, for the podcasters, the quote unquote podcasters, what we are, in the day saying like Zelda was probably not the Mario yet at the time before. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. I was thinking, I don't have time to mute. Just let it out.
Oh, shit.
Something like that. At the beginning, like when Breath of the Wild 2 came out, I think everyone was just like, this looks great, but is this going to be the thing that's going to send it to the stratosphere to Mario? And it did. It did. It was, yes, it had a lot. Obviously, it sold very well because it was obviously on Wii U as well.
Fuck off.
And everything.
Tears of the Kingdom's almost outsold the bloody Wii U.
That's true. Like, yeah. But you know what I mean? Yeah, but there's like 100 million Switches out there now. At the time, there was not.
Well, but, I remember this from when it came out. Me and Keith talked about it on the podcast. They sold more copies of Breath of the Wild on the Switch than they sold Switches.
Yeah, I know. You said that. But that's like, but it's like, it's really exciting to hear this. And like, we want to be champion. And like, we've got the PlayStation thing next week, which we'll talk about. We're excited about that because like, fucking hell, it's going to be an hour long. Main things, PlayStation, give us all the sexy goodness. That's what we want to see. You being quiet, give us all the goodness. And I hope we're coming out. I hope when we do our reactions and we talk about it on the Thursday podcast next week, we're going to be like, fucking hell yes, and everything. Give me all of that goodness.
Finally, a reason to turn my PlayStation on. I jest. It was on when I played Star Wars and Dead Island, okay? Here's a fun fact. So, like, you just brought it up. Tears of the Kingdom has sold 10 million in 3 days worldwide. So, in terms of Legend of Zelda, the entire series, where do you think that places it in terms of best-selling Legend of Zelda games of all time?
All time?
Total units.
What? Already?
Already. Wait, where do you think it lands? There are 25 Zelda titles.
I'm not going to pick a certain number, but I'm going to stay in the top 10.
I mean, it's definitely in the top 10. I can give you that one.
Okay, I'll go higher, top 5.
It's definitely in the top 5.
Second
best-selling Zelda game of all time.
Behind Breath of the Wild.
Behind Breath of the Wild.
Of course, yeah.
Like, it's already outsold every other Zelda game except Breath of the Wild. In 3 days.
Which is insane.
Yeah, so the third best...
What's Breath of the Wild numbers, man?
29 million, the last report.
It's gonna gobble that up by
next
August.
Week.
Or even sooner. That's gonna gobble right up, man. It's probably already 3 days, 10 million. I'm not saying in 3 days later they got to 20 million or anything like that, but you got to think they're closing at least 15 million, if not more, by now. And if not already across that mark. If they hit 20 million, we would have heard about it by now. So
I mean, yeah,
it'll slow down. That's incredible. Yeah, that's incredible. That's insane to think, because let's just think this: like 3 days, 10 million units. We were like praising The Last of Us Part 2 when it came out and released 4 million in 3 days? Is what 3 or 4 days?
Yeah, in its opening weekend.
Yeah, and it's nowhere near. That's just insane to think. That's really actually insane to think, because that's bonkers. That really is bonkers. I'm not saying quality wise or anything like that, people, or anything like that. I'm just saying that is just insane to think.
The more you put the number into perspective, right? Like, because you go, it sold 10 million copies in 3 days, and like you go, that's a really high number. But then you put it in context of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess over its entire lifetime, which was on the Wii, only sold 9 million units in its lifetime.
It's insane.
Tears of the Kingdom has done that in 3 days. Like, and then
That's
you think,
bonkers.
like,
well
okay.
done. Like I've said already, well done to the entire team. Yeah,
it's really awesome. I'm trying to find like a list of like the fastest selling games of all time. I just keep getting the best selling games of all time. Which, is cool. I'm sure Zelda. I feel like Tears of the Kingdom is going to be right off there when we look back on it in history.
Isn't a Call of Duty probably always up there all the time, though?
Fastest selling games of all time. Well, the fastest selling game of all time is Grand Theft Auto 5. Which sold 11 million copies in 24. It sold 11 million copies in 24 hours, and Tears of the Kingdom nearly did that. Like, nearly did that itself.
No, it didn't.
10 million in 3 days versus 11 million in one.
There's 11 million 24 in one day.
In one day, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, no, it didn't. It missed by a few days.
By 2 days. Yeah, but like Grand Theft Auto 5 is Grand Theft Auto 5. The second
and Grand Theft Auto 5 was also on a lot more stuff.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing as well. Isn't Zelda the best-selling game of the year? Now?
No, I think it's another game right now still.
Well, anyway, the second fastest-selling game of all time was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 in 2011, which sold 6.5 million copies in its first 24 hours.
Yeah.
It
Well
might
done.
have. Tears of the Kingdom might have been faster than that. And that's mental. That's awesome. Everyone's always like, oh, Call of Duty. The CMA and the EU and FTC and Microsoft and Activision Blizzard are all like, oh, it's Call of Duty. Step aside, Call of Duty. You're old hat now. Legend of Zelda.
Phil Spencer basically said that a few weeks ago.
Legend of Zelda's where it's at now.
I know we're buying Call of Duty, but we're still third, people. Yeah, but you're a $1 trillion company. I think people keep forgetting that.
We're still third. Well, they'll be using this as like their new thing, like to convince people.
I bet he says it. I bet he says it.
See?
In June.
There's no Activision Blizzard games have ever done this.
No Microsoft games have ever done this. Yeah,
No
'cause you've thrown
Microsoft
out
games
shit,
have ever
mate.
done this.
Redfall has proven it.
Hey, a lot of people played Redfall on Game Pass in its first week. And not so much after that. But, it did numbers for a little while.
It did numbers for 1 hour.
200 concurrent players on Steam right now, really. 200 people are playing it on the Steam. That's 198 more people that are on this podcast. I feel really bad making jokes, but I'm going to keep making them. So it's the fastest selling Nintendo game on any platform in Europe. It's the fastest selling Nintendo game in Europe ever, of any Nintendo game.
Woo.
Mario, Pokemon, Animal Crossing. It's all Zelda now. The Switch is really launched, the Switch era, I should say, has really launched two Nintendo franchises from being sort of like steady niche, has their audience,
really has,
into marquee tentpole franchises.
Even though I don't think
Animal Crossing,
Horizons, Animal Crossing, obviously had a massive success. Weird to say because of COVID. Weird to say that. Success, COVID. That's a dirty combination. But yeah, I still think it would have still been incredibly successful even without COVID or anything like that. It just bumped it even higher because of it. Which is, congratulations to that game as well. And I think, just think now they've got 3 IPs. Big IPs now ready, and any sniff of a new game of those 3 IPs, 4, let's just say 4, even though 2 of them are the same, Mario and Mario Kart, and everything like that. 4 IPs that are gonna any sniff of a new game, everyone's gonna be like, "Fuck yes!"
Yeah.
And that's incredible. That's amazing. That's what we want to hear. And that's again that shows what sadly Microsoft are really lacking right now. PlayStation has it. Again, hopefully next week we'll be like, fuck yes. Next week.
Marvel. Sony.
Yeah. And then and obviously Nintendo have it right now. Maybe I know he's going in a different direction and they're doing things in their way they want to do, but they really do need to get some icons for their product and not kill them. And it can't just be a car, Phil. It can't just be cars.
The thing about
I need to stand up.
I don't know if Microsoft is necessarily about. I don't know if icons is necessarily the thing anymore. We're outside the mascot era right now, which is a shame. I'm looking at his tartan pajama. I'm assuming pajama bottoms. They could just be normal bottoms. It's hard to tell. But I give them a solid 6 or 7 out of 10. He needs to stop doing this mid-podcast, essentially, because I'm just going to start doing shit like reviewing his outfit. His t-shirt's pretty standard right now. It's pretty mid. For audio listeners, it's a black t-shirt with 3 blue bars on it. This is starting to get really, really awkward now. But I give it a 5 or 6 out of 10. You and I have both seen the t-shirts that he wears. It's pretty standard. So yeah. The lack of accessibility options in Tears of the Kingdom has been a bit disappointing to see. Laura Kate Dale did a whole her accessibility video series.
Yeah.
She did a whole video review of it.
Shout out to Laura Kate Dale. I haven't seen the video yet, sadly.
Well, it's one of those things where it was brought up in an interview with Eiji Anuma. I don't know. The creative director of Legend of Zelda, that Breath of the Wild's accessibility options were bad. And he went, we'll look into that. And then I think, you can change the jump button. That's it.
It sucks to think that a game as big and as successful as this game is, that they couldn't sort out some good accessibility options for it, which sucks. It sucks. It really does. But hasn't I don't want to put my foot in the but don't Nintendo kind of always lag behind on this a little bit?
Yeah.
So
they need to change.
So it's like it's not a surprise when it's just disappointing, and agreed they need to fucking change, especially how you just made fucking 10 million units in fucking
could have been, maybe Nintendo, maybe it could have been 15, maybe it could have been more if you had even
accessibility options.
5 accessibility options. I'll tell you what, that fucking jump button though, because I only know it's there because I found the option in the menu. Like, the jump button is on as by default is the top button. I don't know what it is. The switch buttons are all weird. Why on an Xbox controller? That was the jump button. So the amount of times I fucking killed myself because I kept hitting the wrong button to jump before I found out you could flip them. Put it on the bottom, which isn't A, but it's A on the Xbox controller.
Be on Nintendo.
Nintendo, man. When you make your new console, can you please just fucking, if you're gonna stick with letters, when you're gonna stick with letters, it would make being able to play Switch games a lot fucking easier. Dickheads. Press B. I am pressing B. That's A. Fuck you, Nintendo.
But it's different for Xbox and PlayStation. So
because they're different symbols.
Yeah.
PlayStation is
all get a new letter system, Nintendo.
Yeah, just do something else.
Get a new letter system because Nintendo had it first.
I'll give you this one.
I think
when you use Fuse, I'm complaining about controls. And this isn't me complaining about accessibility. They're two completely different things. I just want to rant for a second. Like, you know how most video games are designed when when the controls come up on the screen, like Y, X, B, and A, like the position that they are on the screen corresponds to where they are on the pad. So you don't really need to think about it. It's like, oh, that's the bottom button. You push the bottom button. Nintendo can't even fucking do that. Look at your Switch controller right now. You know when you're doing Fuse, right? When you're doing Fuse, the button to fuse a sword to something, say another sword, is Y, which is on the left. But the position of the button on the screen is B at the bottom. So do you know how many times I've fucking cancelled fusing because it's in the buttons in the wrong place on the screen? Sort your shit out, Nintendo. Anyway, 0 out of 10, worst game ever. That's a really nice controller.
It's the Monster Hunter Rise one.
Yes.
Sexy.
Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, aside from my gripes with the weird cumbersome control system, accessibility's bad.
Yeah, again, it's just one of those things for Nintendo, and just as always, Nintendo, sort your fucking shit out.
Come on, man. Your market leaders, act like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm done talking about Zelda now. For now.
Why does that feel like I'm on a slant?
It looks like you're on a slant.
It does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Is your desk slanted?
Is it my new monitor?
Because
I've got 3 monitors now, Amy.
Of course you do.
That looks weird. What the hell's happened?
You're just a bit whoa. Whoa.
I am, yeah, it looks like it. Is it my...
I don't know.
Oh, my desk looks all right. I don't know.
But anyway, no, we're still gonna do this. This is fine. Could try and fix it at halftime, but this is the much better video game podcast. This is the one episode where I would say, don't watch it, listen to it. We're doing this. That is a big wrist rest. You know, I want to appreciate it. I want you all out there. I want you all out there to appreciate the fact that he's doing this now. And literally minutes before we started recording, he started messing around with his microphone settings as well. I just want you to appreciate how difficult this man can be to work with sometimes. That does look quite good. But now I can see your empty bottom shelves. You need to fill them. Is what I'm saying. I am giving you permission. In fact, I'm giving you
sit like this.
I'm giving you marching orders to go out and buy stuff to fill all those shelves.
I have. It's called. They're in a box over there. I just haven't filled it yet.
I'm giving you an excuse to go and buy more stuff. Go to Smith's, fill up trolley, bring it home.
Oh, I can't go to Smith's. No. I won't have any money.
We'll go when I'm up. I'll fill the trolley for you. You'll be like, "Oh, that looks good," and I'll be like, "Put it in the trolley."
I'll just walk by and you're behind me with the trolley. He's the one buying it, not me. It's not my money.
It's not for me. It's for him. All right, I'm done with the Zelda talk for now.
Sweet. So it's time for In the Game of the Week. Amy, what have you got for the Indie Game of the Week this week for the listeners?
For Indie Game of the Week, Cockney Moody is called Cabernet. It's not a demo that I played. This is a game that I saw announced on Twitter last week. And I would have included it, but I explained it last week. So this was like, I don't want to say it went viral on Twitter. It went semi-viral with people like me. And my specific tastes, whom I follow a lot of on Twitter.
So just you.
It was like me and it's like me and the same 20 dweebs that get excited for weird games.
Same 20 dweebs.
You know, everyone else is out here like, "Oh, Zelda!" And
Zelda! We can create penises in Zelda!
Everyone's like, "Ooh, Zelda!" And I'm like, "Ooh, weird indie game."
It was like this.
Yeah, it's called Cabernet, and it's a narrative-driven adventure game where you play as a vampire who's just been turned in Victorian England, and you have to make moral choices and try to navigate the society of Victorian England whilst also are you going to be a good person and hold on to your humanity, or are you going to succumb to the beast within and
succumb to the dark side of the Force?
And I mean, I've already made my decisions. I'm just going to say it. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Aristocrats, you say? Ah, interesting. That kind of changes what is and isn't a moral choice. Just saying. Oh shit, everybody's dead.
Yeah, that one scene where those two vampire ladies in Angel just turn around and walk back into a room full of humans, just ready to kill them all, and you're one of them. You're there.
I'm gonna be full for days. It looks cool. It's got a cool cartoon aesthetic art style. The trailer looks pretty spiffing to carry on the Cockney and Victorian theme that you and the game have got going on between you.
Wait, it's time to sound like that guy from London.
I was going to say, did you do that on purpose?
I don't know. My voice just goes crazy sometimes. I can't help it.
Just your voice, yeah.
Well, just my voice.
Just your voice.
Just my voice, Amy. Just my voice, Amy.
Yeah, it's called Cabernet. And you should
look. I've been stood up a lot longer. I feel energetic for some reason.
It's because you stand up.
Yeah, I should have been stood up from the beginning.
Yeah, but then you would have just ended up making it awkward when you had to sit back down again. You would have been like, "Ooh," and then I'd have to fucking fill the time in. Do you ever watch that, by the way? Like, I know you probably don't watch the podcast back, but do you never get curious about going back and watching the parts where you can't hear me?
No.
You really should one of these days.
Amy turns into full-blown bigot.
Do you think I stay on topic while you can't hear me?
No.
Yeah, good.
No, you don't. You're probably a commentator. Now he's getting out of his chair.
Oh no!
Now he's raising his desk.
You see, the thing is, yes, the first time, but you do this every week. I can't just commentate because it'd be the same thing every time.
That's fair.
The desk is going down. Moody is going down with it.
With the desk.
You ever thought about getting some kind of setup where your chair and your desk just go up and down, like down simultaneously? You can just the whole thing just goes, and the chair just slowly stands you up. So,
I would love to have a chair that would stand me up.
Cabernet
make my life so much easier.
Cabernet is being developed and published by Party for Introverts, which is a fantastic studio name.
Hit that wish list button, because trust me, the developers will love you for it.
Coming in 2024 to PC. Break time.
Break time. It's halftime, people. We will see you in a moment. I've come back with a water stain in me. I couldn't hit my mouth.
Well, in that case, I'm going to have to downgrade your t-shirt from a 5 to a 4. If you want to understand that, maybe you should keep your headphones on for the entire podcast.
maybe, but yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Gee, did you hear that?
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing. I knew I should have been fiddling with my digits. That sounded wrong. Fiddling with my settings a long time ago.
You heard it here first. Moody's fiddling with his digits live on the Words About Games After Dark.
Hear me, it's Moody's time to shine.
Sure
so
is.
let's shine by talking about. Oh no! What did I do?
What have you done now?
No.
You fucking. You're gonna kill me today, aren't you? That's your goal, isn't it?
Oh, I'm back.
You're gonna fucking try. You're trying to kill me today, right? That's it. Yeah.
That's better.
You sure? If you say so.
Yeah. Okay. All water stain and everything.
Oh wait, hold on. I mean, if you're gonna do that, right? I mean, this podcast is already a disaster. I mean, if you're gonna fucking, then I'm gonna have to. I have to represent too, so.
You have to represent indeed, Amy. Let's represent by going to Overwatch 2. Fans are furious over the dramatic PvE changes.
Because our reaction to this on the podcast is going to be much different than our reaction to this on Discord.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
Yeah, that wasn't our reaction. Overwatch 2 fans furious. Yeah, you already said that part. Joshua, this is from Joshua Robertson over at The Gamer, who writes, for the longest time, Overwatch fans have been putting up with Blizzard's shenanigans regarding monetization and a fairly unnecessary sequel because of the promise that a fully fleshed out PvE mod was around the corner. It was going to include fully reworked characters, separate progression, and talent trees, but Blizzard has now announced that it, quote, can't deliver, end quote, on these promises. This mode has now been cancelled in favour of smaller, seasonal story missions, and Overwatch 2 players are as furious as you're probably expecting. You don't have to scroll through social media for very long to find countless videos and tweets of Overwatch fans voicing their displeasure, with Overwatch 2 currently trending on Twitter at the time of writing. Probably still is. There are loads of people sharing screenshots and videos of the skill trees and gameplay that Blizzard showed off back in 2019, severely disappointed that none of it is going to see the light of day. Then you have the angrier Overwatch fans. You'll find plenty of them complaining this is the final straw and threatening to uninstall the game for good, especially now the promised PvE mode everyone was sticking around for will never come. There's also quite a large amount of fans furious that Overwatch 2 exists at all now, as the lack of a meaningful PvE mode has fans questioning why the original game was shut down in favour of a sequel in the first place. It'll be interesting to see if Overwatch 2 can recover from this, given that the majority of fans were already hovering over the install button due to a variety of monetization issues and lackluster seasonal updates. It's difficult to imagine player numbers dropping too drastically, though Overwatch 2 players have very little to look forward to now besides a couple of new heroes in upcoming seasons.
This doesn't disturb me whatsoever. I am sorry to the Overwatch fans who love that franchise and everything like that this is happening, but don't mean this to come across mean, but it might. It's Activision Blizzard. Were you surprised?
As a former Overwatch player, I feel like I have more authority on this subject. So allow me to say to you, to the Overwatch community, to Activision Blizzard, and to anybody who's out there listening, from the bottom of my heart, lol. This is funny. It's not, but it is. It's funny.
It's more fun. It's funny because of all the people who are I didn't know about any of this until you shared it. Like I say, I'm not on social media anymore, so I get to avoid all of this stupidness.
Well,
and just think about the bliss of blissness.
Yeah.
You know, it's not word.
I mean,
okay.
I can paint you a picture if you want of the events that led up.
I've seen social media before.
Of the events that led up to this situation.
No, you don't have to. Yeah. It's like I'm disappointed to the fans and everything like that, but it's like you're not going to install the game. Some of you might, but you're not going to install this game. You're going to keep on playing it. You're going to keep on throwing money at them and everything, and pray to God that they might actually give you what you want by the end of it. They won't. Somehow, I bet someone's called out saying this is the UK's fault for stopping Microsoft from buying them.
I mean, if you want to blame something,
you can blame the UK.
I mean, you can blame the UK. I blame the UK for everything. Have you seen the shit in our waters? Literally.
Yeah.
If you want to blame something,
like in our parliament,
let's rewind time by a couple of weeks, and we can talk about the crisis maps that Blizzard drew up while Moody rubs his boob.
It's my chest. Kind of helped.
If you say so.
It's one of those episodes.
I mean, you keep bringing attention to it, I think, is your problem.
Because all I see is a giant.
Stop looking at it.
Stop looking at it, Moody.
Yeah. So, like, if you... Go and change your t-shirt.
I'm going to.
Yeah, I thought... Yeah. So if you want to blame somebody... Like, if you really want to find the blame and assign the blame in the correct direction, cast your mind back to the crisis maps that we talked about that a couple of weeks ago that Blizzard drew up of things that they can't do because they don't have enough staff. And I'm guessing Overwatch 2's campaign was one of those things that was in a crisis map that they can't do because they don't have enough staff. So really, the people who are to blame are the people who created and sustain the terrible working culture at Blizzard that has seen so many staff leave. Basically what I'm saying is you can blame the Activision Blizzard executives for this.
Exactly.
Because it's their fault.
It is, that's true. There's no doubt about it. Yeah.
Maybe
don't put all your money into a capital corporation that is terrible with their staff.
It was quite funny. They did the Blizzard.
They did the Blizzard.
Is what I'm referring it to now.
Blizzard did the Blizzard.
They did this. So, like, I didn't know this until this happened, but a few weeks ago, one of the leads at Overwatch 2 was literally on a stream saying, "Oh, we're going to have news about the PvE campaign in a few weeks." This was the news. But so they dropped this, and then immediately after they dropped this news, they did the thing that they always do, like, you know, when a lawsuit is happening or something, and they're trying to they're trying to like distract people from it by like saying, "Oh, Soldier 76 is gay," ooh, and then they distract you. They were like, "Check out our Pride merch in June." It's so transparent, like that all they're trying to do is deflect attention away from the bad thing that people are talking about. It's become a meme of its own. I find it really entertaining because you can set your watch to it. As soon as the Overwatch 2 news dropped, I was just waiting for something
to happen.
And I got it.
You got it.
Check out our Pride merch. No. I don't want to wear Activision Blizzard's logo on any part of my body, whether it's rainbow colored or not. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, bless. Let's go to the one that's really funny. The Chancellor says UK regulators must understand wider responsibility after Microsoft Activision deal block.
This is from Tom Phillips over at Eurogamer, who writes, UK Chancellor Jeremy Hunt has called upon the country's regulator to understand its, quote, wider responsibilities, end quote, to promote economic growth following its recent block of Microsoft's proposed $68.7 billion Activision Blizzard buyout. The remarks, reported by The Telegraph, follow questions from MPs this week directed at bosses of the Competition and Markets Authority regarding the decision, which has scuppered Microsoft's ambitions here in the UK and potentially worldwide. Both Microsoft and Activision have criticised the UK for disrupting the deal and have labelled the country as, quote, being bad for business, end quote, post-Brexit. Excuse me. The remarks come in stark contrast to the vision for the UK's tech industry previously set out by Hunt and UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to become the Silicon Valley of Europe. Hunt said, quote, when it comes to Microsoft, there was a merger between two American companies that the US regulator is seeking to block and the UK regulator took the same view, end quote. Hunt highlighted the fact that the CMA was an independent body from the government, meaning he and it could disagree on its decisions, but that this independence still came with a responsibility to look at the bigger picture. Quote, I think one of the reasons companies like Microsoft and Google want to invest in the UK is because we have independent regulators that are not controlled by politicians, and therefore they can be confident there will be a level playing field. I would not want to undermine that at all, but I do think it's important all our regulators understand their wider responsibilities for economic growth, end quote. Hunt was speaking a day after the CMA's bosses faced a grilling by British Chambers of Commerce annual conference MPs, several of whom seemed less than delighted by the regulator's decision. In particular, CMA Chair Marcus Bockering faced repeated questions over whether the regulator considered the UK's international reputation when making such a seismic decision. Bockering replied, quote, I understand the inference that when a decision is made that blocks a deal, there are questions over whether the UK is open for business. I would challenge the premise that there is an impact on international confidence on doing business in the UK. End quote. He also suggested that it would conversely not inspire confidence in the UK if the UK was seen to be, quote, turning a blind eye to anti-competitive mergers, end quote. Back on Monday, the EU's European Commission took a very different stance on the deal, greenlighting it as good to go across the English Channel. Sarah Cardell of the CMA told MPs, quote, they have their own test to apply and they have reached their own view and they're fully entitled to that view, end quote. Bet they were like, wait, the EU approved it? I thought they were going to deny it. They were supposed to deny it. Oh no, now we look like fucking dickheads. Yeah, you do. Congrats.
Oh, Jeremy Hunt. Oh, Rishi Sunak. You say we're open for business, but we are not open for business. We haven't been open for business since post-Brexit. Thank you very much for that. If we were truly open for business, we would be in at least the EU single market still, but we are not open for fucking business. You have proven that. Oh, this just makes me laugh. And when I was listening to what you've seen all there, I was literally thinking, I bet Jeremy Hunt has gone to Sunak. We got to step in here. We got to push something through Parliament here and everything to show we are open for business by overruling a body who is independent from the government and everything and whatnot. Even if we agree with what they've said, agree with what they've done and everything like that, that's neither here or there. it's like they've made the decision. Like we already discussed, like the hypocrisy of what things they've decided is okay and what isn't okay on many bloody occasions with this type of with them. And it's just really, really made me laugh. Like we're not open for business. We fucking know we're not open for fucking business. And that's just how it fucking is. And Jeremy Hunt wants to come and try and stir the pot and fucking say things like this. They're gonna go for it. They're gonna try and put this through Parliament. I guarantee you that.
Well, they got to do something. Like they've been made to look like. I mean, and again, it's not difficult to do this, but the pair of them have been made to look like twats. the day that this happened, and the CMA was like, "We're gonna block the deal." They were literally had people from the games industry in the UK in number 10.
Oh, it was the exact same day.
It was the same day.
That is so fucking funny.
And they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be the Silicon Valley. We're gonna have loads of like games and shit." And then the CMA went, "Why not?" Like, sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, at the end of the day, they've made a decision. And this is going to be a decision that Microsoft have clearly decided they're going to fight it because, like, obviously I put in an article I think last week, which we missed, that they've hired, like, EU busting lawyers who are there to fight, who are able to fight this type of thing or good at fighting against this type of thing and whatnot. And I'm just like, all right. It's still going to take ages for this to go through. We're going to be talking about this probably sometime for the rest of this year and probably sometime next year and everything like that, or if not even longer. Like people have estimated maybe 10 fucking years. And I'm just like, wait, what? 10 fucking years?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's really funny to me. I'm not going to lie. I won't lie. All of this, let's just be frank, Jim Ryan's like, in the funniest way. I think it's funny.
He wasted all those air miles to Brussels. You know what I mean? He's backwards and forwards to Brussels. He could have just come here.
Just come to the fucking UK. Sent an email out like he did in when I was there. But no, it's funny to me. We're
it's
not
hilarious.
Open for business, people. Just so you know, the UK is not open for business.
God, no. Like, if you even want to like come in and park a boat in the UK, you've got to get through the layers of shit. And again, that's not a metaphor. We are literally surrounded by shit.
By shit, yeah.
Which is just the perfect metaphor for Brexit and the UK and the general state of our awful, awful country. I saw a picture from the King's coronation where it's like, the street that they went down. And like it was full of potholes. Because they don't have the money to fill the potholes. So a man in a crown full of jewels could drive down it. They filled it with sand. It's like,
and yet we've paid for that fucker.
Do you know how you could have afforded to fill those potholes? That's just the kind of fucking backwards country this is. And you can either at this point find the humor in it. Or wallow in despair. And I've chosen both simultaneously. There was a clip that went around today. Because obviously the sewage thing has become a thing. Because the water companies have released how much money they've
apologized, apparently.
Oh yeah, they've said they can reduce it by 30% by 2030. And it's just like, it was fucking zero a couple of years ago, dickheads. And they're going to make us pay for it. But no, there was a Conservative MP on TV who was just like, when I was a kid in North Wales, we used to swim in sewage. And it's like, that's what you're going with? That's who these people are. They don't construct any kind of argument that makes sense. All they do is they say a thing that will try and win them the debate. It's like, oh, well, I used to swim in the sewage. It's not that big a deal. I'm still alive. And naturally, the jokes that was spawned from that were epic and amazing. Because a Tory basically said, when I was a kid, I swam around in sewage. So you can imagine what sprung from that.
So he's stuck being shit all his life then.
So that's one. My contribution was that that makes sense because the Tories' natural environment is sewage.
The sewage, yes, it is.
But
No doubt
it's
about
the
it.
same. It's the same with this. Like we've been as a country, yet again, we have been embarrassed on the world stage, by some bollocks that we've done. So now Jeremy Hunt, sorry, has
Remember when someone said that in the House of Parliament?
I do remember when
that was the
someone said
greatest moment. That might be one of the greatest moments of the House of Parliament of all time.
Absolutely. But no, and now he's come out and been like, shit, we need to do damage control here.
Let's talk about shit.
It's a similar thing to the thing I was just talking about Activision Blizzard and the whole distracting from the bad news thing. Like, the government does it as well.
Yeah.
Like, do you think Boris Johnson, all of the mistakes he made were just mistakes that just happened to be timed around bad things being announced? No, he did something fucking stupid because then everybody talked about the stupid thing he did instead of the whatever bill to crack down on pensioners or whatever. Ooh. It's getting a bit political in here, Moody.
Let's continue. Why Microsoft CEO refuses to roll out pulling Activision games from the UK. We're not open for business.
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
We talked about it when we talked about when they got refused.
And because you asked me, like, oh, what could they do? And I was like, well, this is one of the things that they could do.
Yeah.
This is from Joshua Robertson over at The Gamer, who writes, Microsoft has encountered blah, 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 blah. Anyway, we just talked about it. I'd put this in and not expecting there to be another story about this.
You know what articles are. They have to take up at least 2 pages of explaining the thing that they're talking about that happened 2 months ago.
That happened
even
yesterday
though it was only
afternoon.
a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
The deal's been blocked, blah, blah, blah. Anyway. Where the hell does unless you're reading that probably, yeah.
Microsoft
could simply, one of the things that Microsoft could do in response to the CMA blocking the deal is that they could simply refuse to sell Activision Blizzard games in the UK to get around this issue. Now, that'll probably sound like a far-fetched outcome, but it's one that Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has refused to rule out. First shared by The Verge, on an interviewer for CNBC TV recently asked Nadella whether there would ever be a scenario in which Microsoft could sell Activision Blizzard games in the US and EU, but leave out the UK. His response was something that British Call of Duty enjoyers probably won't want to hear, as Nadella simply says, quote, let's wait for it all to play out, end quote. You could read on this comment one of 2 ways. Either Nadella is keeping his cards close to his chest, refusing to comment on the situation until work behind the scenes is done or decisions have been finalised, or that he's leaving the door open for a potential scenario in which Activision Blizzard games are no longer released in the UK. It's a very vague comment, but it seems as though Nadella is refusing to rule out the latter.
So not refusing.
Well, he can't. You can't say anything. He's in legal proceedings.
Yeah.
It's the same thing we talked about like last year when Phil wasn't talking about what Activision Blizzard games are going to happen on Xbox and stuff. Because he can't talk about it.
Yeah, he still can't and everything like that. At the end of the day, this is a conversation they have probably had. Say, well, okay, how much will we lose if we take the UK out of it?
Now, I have a thought about this. Because obviously they'll lose money. Now,
yes,
and we both know a company,
and the industry in the UK will lose money as well.
The industry in the UK will lose a lot more. But right, and I know everybody is, as I say that, will be like, but Amy, you always say that a company in capitalism's number one priority is making money. That's true. Consider it this way: how much money right now does Microsoft make from Activision Blizzard? Nothing, because they don't own
it.
They don't own it. So if the choice was they make no money from Activision Blizzard, or they make money from selling Activision Blizzard games in the US and the EU and everywhere else in the world apart from the UK, that's still going to be a big net gain for them.
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard wouldn't make as much money as they do now by not selling games in the UK. But Microsoft would make a hell of a lot more money selling Activision Blizzard games everywhere else but the UK. While I still think this isn't like the most likely next outcome of what's happening. I don't think it's impossible that this would happen. because again, Microsoft will make fucking billions just selling Call of Duty everywhere except the UK.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, it's insane to think that there's this chance and everything like that, but it is the chance and everything. But we're just gonna have to play it by ear right now, see what's gonna happen. Like everyone's been saying, we got at least 10 years of this now, so it's all right.
It's cool. What I really like, and Moody, I'm gonna laugh so fucking hard if we get to come onto this podcast in the future and do a whole story about how you can't buy Activision Blizzard games in the UK anymore. I mean, as terrible as that outcome will be for the UK games industry, I think it would also be extraordinarily funny. Politically. The UK is open for business. We can't sell Call of Duty anymore. Oh no. What's that? What's that? Microsoft are moving studios into Europe?
Playground games are no longer in England. They've moved to France.
Yeah. Wait, what's that? Everybody's leaving. What? They just moved where? To Scotland, Ireland. Depending on how far in the future, they just moved where? To the newly independent Scotland. Oh no. But yeah, this isn't a likely possibility, but it's still a possibility. And I would remind everybody that 12 months ago, as far as anybody in video games who was talking about this was concerned, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. There's no way this won't go through. That was the crack. And I remember. I watched you all talking about it out there with your words. Whoops. I'm not calling out anyone in specific there. I just want to point out that, like, anything's fucking possible these days.
Riot's 100 million gender discrimination settlement granted. Final approval.
Remember this from back in the day as well. This is from Chris Kerr over at GameDeveloper.com. He writes, a gender discrimination settlement first tabled by Riot Games back in 2021 has been granted final approval in court, bringing the studio's litigation with the class action plaintiffs involved to a close. Riot pulled together the $100 million settlement to resolve a 2018 gender discrimination class action that involved forced arbitration clauses, employees' walkouts, and numerous California regulators. The lawsuit was filed by former Riot workers Melanie McCracken and Jess Negron after serious allegations of sexism and harassment at the League of Legends studio were surfaced by Kotaku. Under the terms of the settlement, which was granted preliminary approval last year, $80 million will be paid out to women employees and contract workers at Riot, with the remaining $20 million being used to cover legal fees and expenses. The news comes shortly after Axios reported that over 1,500 current and former Riot employees would be receiving payments as part of the settlement. Those involved will reportedly receive initial payments of between $2,500 and $5,000, followed by additional payments of up to $40,000 based on employment status and tenure. Commenting on the final approval, Riot's SVP of Corporate Affairs, Gord Pays, said, quote, "This has been a long road for everyone involved," end quote, and thanks staff for their patience. They added, quote, "We know that the trust is not a given, it's earned, and it's up to us to earn that trust each and every day, through the experiences we create for Rioters and for players. We've worked hard over the past several years to create a culture at Riot where inclusivity is the norm and embracing diversity fuels creativity, and we're committed to making sure that remains true moving forward," end quote.
Yeah, you've only been doing that since the claim of gender discrimination happened against you guys. But no, it should never have happened whatsoever. Like we've stated on many occasions, it's an amazing to hear all these people are going to be getting hopefully a great amount of money for the crap that they took when they were working at this company. Like we've reported on many occasions, it is seemed like Riot Games are moving in a good direction when it comes to the employees and how they. The work environment, everything there is and whatnot. Just going off what we've read and talked about on the podcast, which is great to hear and everything. And hopefully, this will never happen again with Riot Games, and we can just crack on and start continue to crap on the other people who
Yeah,
get discrimination
right.
things
Now,
against them.
we haven't talked about Ubisoft for a while. Let's fucking get them next. No, like, this isn't. It's nice that this has finally come to a close. Obviously, it started in 2018, so it's within the lifespan of this podcast. So we have been talking about this since it began. I remember all of it. I remember the $100 million being floated because there was a smaller settlement, and they had the same. I remember they had the same lawyer as the Me Too. From the Me Too thing, so I remember our consensus was they're going to get their $100 million. You better hope they stop there, and they did. So that's awesome. The sheer scale of it, though, like $100 million is a lot of money, but the fact that it's going to 1,500 people, like 1,500 people are getting compensated for this. The sheer scale of what was going on at Riot Games is staggering. Just in terms of the number of people that it affected. And good, I'm glad that they've got the compensation. I think they obviously they deserve it. But hopefully this is also going to signal a wider change that things like this don't happen at Riot Games again. Like you've just said.
Yeah, hopefully that's the main thing about this overall at the end of the day. No one in any workplace should get discriminated in any form. So hopefully this gets will get the kick over companies up the arse.
Nah, that's our job.
Because sometimes I think people forget how big Riot is sometimes for people. Because they are really, I don't mean this in a bad way, they are really only known for one game, League of Legends. I know they've done many other type of games and whatnot, but League of Legends is their bread and butter and everything. And so I think, like I said, people forget, oh shit, this is a big ass company.
But I don't play League of Legends, therefore it's not a big franchise. It's one of the biggest franchises in the world.
That's why I say it all the time, Amy. I said, well, I don't care.
That's why Moody says Pokemon is the biggest franchise worldwide.
Exactly. League
of Legends is one of the biggest media IPs in the world.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact. Provable by numbers and statistics, which I'm not going to go and get for you. Yeah, listener, you're just going to have to believe me. Or look it up yourself.
One more story. One more. What do we want? Do you want
to talk about something serious, or do you want to talk about something funny? Serious, but also funny.
Funny.
Sony obliged to refund players' money for FIFA Ultimate Team packs after Austrian loot box ruling goes unchallenged. This is from Victoria Kennedy over at Eurogamer, who writes, Sony has not appealed the Austrian loot box verdict, which ordered it to refund a number of Austrian FIFA players after a court ruled that FIFA Ultimate Team packs constituted a form of gambling. Earlier this year, a court in Hermagor ruled that the football game's FUT packs violated the country's gambling laws. At this time, lawyer Ulrich Salberg stated the plaintiffs, which included one minor, had allegedly gambled away hundreds of euros on FUT packs when the uncertain monetary value of the packs purportedly violated the Austrian Gaming Act. Consequently, the court alleged that the controversial loot boxes could be classified as, quote, illegal gambling, end quote. According to German site Games Market via Eurogamer's sister site GamesIndustry.biz, Sony was free to appeal this ruling by the regional court up until April 3rd. However, it has failed to do this. As a result, this ruling is now final, meaning Sony is obliged to repay money to those FIFA players affected. It's worth noting that while Sony is not FIFA's developer, it is obligated in this instance as the transactions were made on the PlayStation Store. Games Market stated Sony is now responsible for repaying the plaintiff €336.26, which is roughly equivalent to £290. While this sum doesn't seem like that, While this sum doesn't sound like much for a company like Sony, this may be merely the tip of the iceberg as, quote, several hundred, end quote, other potential plaintiffs have reportedly come forward with similar cases to Austrian legal firm Pedronas, which initiated the lawsuit with Sony. I started losing my voice at the end there.
You've been talking too much.
That's true every day.
This obviously, I think, is going to come back and bite in a lot of companies' asses eventually, because at the end of the day, I think a lot of the countries are going to put through laws that are going to prove that the FIFA thing, packs and everything are gambling and everything like that. Oh, come on, for God's sakes. if you try and defend them, you're a fucking idiot. I'm just going to state that because I've seen many people trying to defend them. Saying, oh, you don't have to buy them.
They're just cosmetic.
You really don't understand a person who is a gambling addict, who is a person, me and Amy, who suffer from ADHD and everything.
If they didn't work, they wouldn't be in the fucking games, dickheads.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's the whole freaking thing. No, you don't apologize. And
You're not
so,
a dickhead.
like,
just to clarify, 100%.
Thank you. This is an important ruling at the end of the day, and hopefully this clamps down more and more and more countries around the world and everything. This is what needs to happen. Sadly, the UK is not open for business, so we won't stop this because because Call of Duty is no longer going to be here anymore. We need to get.
We need to stop. We need to stop the important things like selling Call of Duty people.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is a menace to society.
Yeah, but no, yeah, it's
Imagine if that's what triggered the revolution. It's not the water bills or the energy crisis or the shit in the rivers. It's Call of Duty is no longer allowed to be sold in the UK.
Now, fucking gamers are nutters, so they probably would they would walk out and protest. You fucking know they would in the UK. Biggest turnout ever.
I would love to see that protest, please. Somebody out there, make it happen.
Let's see if the coppers can try and stop this fucker.
Well, no, they'll be mostly white guys, so the police won't try and stop them because that's how it works.
True. That is true.
That's how it works in the UK. But yeah, no, this is good. Like again, it's like the previous story.
And the US.
Yes, and the US. It's like the previous story. Like this has been a thing we've been on top of since it kind of kicked off with Lord of the fucking Rings and Battlefront. Sexy Shelob. It's all coming back to me now. That game was horrible. I was too nice to that game when I reviewed it on my Xbox and me.
Game.
Shadow of War.
Sequel, innit?
It was the sequel, the one with the loot boxes and the sexy spider, the sexy woman turned into a spider.
Oh yeah,
we can't have Sheila be a spider. She has to be a sexy goth woman too. Like what the fuck?
Forgot about that.
I didn't. I never forget these things.
You boys fell in love with the spider.
It was the stupidest fucking. I mean, yeah, sure, she was hot, but it was still the stupidest fucking thing. I've seen in video games in at least 2 weeks, and that's saying something because there's usually something stupid every day. But yeah, no, it was stupid. Loot boxes are shit then; they're shit now. I made a whole video. I'll remake that video one day, and yeah, you don't get how deceptively, like you don't get how they can get into a person's mind and really affect them. And again, if they didn't work, they wouldn't be in the game. And so I'm glad someone somewhere is saying, "Nah, this is bollocks." But the idea that PlayStation is paid out a few €100, sure, but there's hundreds more cases coming through, and now there's legal precedent being set. So it seems like they might have to pay out a lot of money. And how happy do you think they're going to be that because they're the ones that operate the storefront, that they're going to have to pay for EA's loot boxes? Do you think they're going to be pleased about that? I don't know if they're going to be pleased about that.
They won't be pleased about it, but I wonder if this will force them to do something where they will, I don't know, put something in themselves to say this is gambling or this could be considered as a gambling thing, be very careful type of thing before you do your purchase, just to try and give them some more leeway, quote unquote leeway. That's the only thing I can think of until we all know the publishers, developers, that they are not going to fucking stop until it's made illegal. We know this.
100%.
So,
it makes them shitloads of money.
It does. So yeah. Ooh.
Infinite money. It's the capitalist corporation's wet dream. Loot boxes is technically potentially infinitely recurring revenue.
Yeah.
If you sell me a skin and I buy that skin, I can't buy it again. But if you put that skin in with 1,000 other things in a loot box, I'm going to have to keep buying that loot box until I get the skin.
Yeah.
And I could potentially take a lot more than just me paying you tenner for the skin. I'm surprised they never thought of it before. Whenever the first year it was that they came out. I'm surprised that didn't come with the games industry.
Yeah.
Surprised that's not how you buy games.
They didn't have the internet. They didn't
it's
have
like,
the
okay,
internet,
so you want Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? Okay, well if you buy the gold tier premium loot boxes, you have a 10% chance of having Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom inside.
Sure.
And then people will come out and go, it's not gambling. You don't have to buy it. Because they're fucking losers. Fuck you.
No, they're just ignorant. That's all they are. They're ignorant. They
Losers.
don't know. They don't know what people go through.
They're losers.
It's time for what's happening next week, Amy.
I changed this so it doesn't just have to be about video games releases.
I know. I saw
Because
the thing.
The square.
Because that's where my monitor is. That's where the screen is for me.
It's down here for me. Yep, there's stuff happening next week. There's a PlayStation showcase at 9 p.m. UK time on May 24th, which is the Wednesday. And the quote from the blog, I think it was from Eurogamer actually, the show will last for an hour and focus on PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2 games from PlayStation Studios, third-party partners, and indie creators from around the world.
And what are we doing, Amy?
We're going to watch it. It's true.
It's true, I guess. Yeah. We're gonna be watching it live on Words About Games Twitch channel.
Twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames.
Yeah, I got it the wrong way around.
You'll get it eventually. It becomes second nature after a while.
Yeah, guys always get there in the end. Eventually. Sometimes we're very slow though.
No comment. It's a proper showcase. It's not a state of play. The showcases generally tend to be pretty good. Like, for me, historically. And most of the state of plays have been boring. So I'm really actually excited by the fact that it's a proper showcase.
Like, I think when they did the PlayStation 5 reveal showcase, that was a banger. Good showcase. It was a banger. Like, it started with a banger. Everyone was just like, wait, Spider-Man? Oh, and I think, what was your words? Like, oh, they're strong, boys! Something like, because it's both me and Keith.
We've got a show!
Yeah, that's it. That's what you said. We got a show, boys!
We got a show, boys.
And then obviously they had that other one last year, which was, or was it last year? That
before.
revealed.
They didn't have one last year.
Yeah, the revealed Wolverine, which had some good parts, but it was just disjointed. It was very disjointed.
They did the annoying thing of revealing a game, and if I didn't have my hands on my back right now, I would have used air quotes there. So just imagine I used air quotes. Revealing a game, because it's a title fucking screen. That's not a game reveal.
It worked for Nintendo for Metroid Prime 4.
Did it? Where's Metroid Prime 4, Moody? Where's Metroid Prime 4?
On the next-gen console.
Fuck's sake. Elder Scrolls. Did you work for Elder Scrolls 6 as well? Like, fuck's sake.
Well, they've been thinking about Starfield. They're going to space.
Look,
first,
right. If you're fucking revealing that game by just putting some words on a background, it's not a fucking game reveal. It's a fancy greetings card. Okay. It's a fancy. Anybody could do that. You just make up some fucking words, set it to a landscape background, boom, you've got a video game.
Have a dragon fly by.
Yeah. That's if you want to be real fancy.
That's
Metroid Prime 4 was a black background. It was just some fucking words.
It was. We've done them before. Yes.
I've got a number for you. 1. Fuck off.
PlayStation Showcase next week. Me and Amy reacting to it. Hopefully it'll be fun. And we'll have a blast. Come join us. 9 p.m. Oh, actually, what? We'll be on what? 8:30?
Yeah, probably. It'll be fun either way. Yeah. We will have fun.
Yeah. We'll get our ships out and we'll pew each other again.
I was going to say, one of the worst showcases we've watched on Twitch was the Summer Games Fest last year with Jeff Keighley. Conversely, ask anyone who was in chat that day. They will tell you that one of the best showcases we've ever reacted to was the Summer Games Fest with Jeff Keighley last year. Because if we get bored, we go crazy.
We find a way to be not bored. Yes.
But yeah, no, this is fun. I'm looking forward to seeing Spider-Man 2 and whatever else that they've got going on. Maybe Hollow Knight. Who knows? What do you think Naughty Dog's making right now?
Well, aren't they rumors that they're doing? Obviously, this is probably the chance they're going to show factions. I'm guessing if everyone probably's hoping for factions. But obviously, like, wasn't the rumor that they were doing a new IP?
I mean, that's the rumor.
A medieval IP or something like that, which would be amazing.
The rumors are that
sounds sexy.
The rumors are that they're making a medieval IP, new IP game, The Last of Us Part 3, The Last of Us 2 factions, some kind of new Uncharted game starring what's-her-face, who's Nathan Drake's daughter.
No, hasn't that been moved on to rumored to another studio?
And probably 6 other games.
Yeah, probably,
all at once. Again, I could start a new rumor by just saying, "Oh, I've heard from my inside sources that the Naughty Dog's actually making an RPG based on the classic science fiction film Westworld."
Jesus.
Waterworld, not
when
Westworld.
When did you become Jeff Grubb?
I know, right?
Jesus. But apparently, Amy, it's not the only thing next week.
It isn't the only thing next week.
You think Henry Cavill is all over this?
He's definitely going to be watching it. I don't know if he's going to be in it or not.
He is going to be all over this.
There is also a Warhammer Skulls showcase at 5 p.m. UK time on May 25th. Quote, hosted by Rahul Kohli, buckle up for world premieres, new games, and big reveals, end quote. So I learned about this.
Henry Cavill.
Not from an announcement.
I might just watch it just to see if Cavill turns up. I might just watch it just for the heck of that.
Well, he might be in the trailer for the thing. Isn't he going to be in a thing? He's in a movie or something,
It's
right?
going to be it's a TV show.
TV show, that's it.
Hasn't started filming yet. I don't think they've started writing
Oh,
yet.
cool. Then he'll just sit in a chair and talk about it.
Right now, no one's writing right now in Hollywood, so it's okay.
It's true. But, yeah, no, I found out about this in the weirdest way. My friend got sent a box. My, streamer friend got sent a box of, Warhammer stuff to promote Warhammer Skulls. And I saw her post on Twitter, which was the first I'd heard of this. So, in that case, marketing worked. Because I would have known this existed otherwise.
Marketing 101.
Marketing 101. But yeah, no, it should be cool. Warhammer games, they can be fun. They can be fun. But you know what else can be fun?
Games.
7,000 new games coming out next week, Moody. We've got Planet of Lana coming to Xbox and PC on May 23rd and also to Game Pass. We've got Star Trek Resurgence coming to PlayStation, Xbox,
what the
and
fuck,
PC.
Boomerang? Why are you fucking us over with Star Trek Resurgence?
On
Where
May
is
23rd.
that in there? Come on, Boomerang.
Is there a physical
Get your
release?
finger out your ass. No, there's no physical.
Well, there's nothing they can do
On
about
Boomerang. I know, that's what I'm screaming at them. I'm saying, where is the physical? No, I don't know if there is a physical or not. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not in their marketing.
Look, right, we'll talk. Anyway, I'm busy. I'm busy. Do you mind? I'm busy.
Oh, you want to talk this time? Huh?
We can talk. We can talk about it after I've read all the names. That's how this works, Bernie. We've got After Us coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on May 23rd. We've got Warhammer 40,000 Bolt Gun coming to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, PC on May 23rd. We've got Miasma Chronicles coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on May 23rd. We've got Convergence, a League of Legends story coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on May 23rd. We've got End of Lines coming to PC on May 25th. And we've also got the one that everybody's been waiting for with breathless anticipation, The Lord of the Rings Gollum coming to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC on May 25th.
Seriously, Warhammer, you should just lock in Henry Cavill for life. All he'll just want free stuff. He won't want money. He's fine with money. He'll just want free stuff.
Do you think?
And lock him down, and then he can narrate everything, host anything he want, and he'd be all over that fucker.
Do you think somewhere in the games industry somebody did commissioned a secret scientific study to figure out the optimal time to release a game after Tears of the Kingdom.
No.
Because for some reason, we had fucking nothing came out last week, and we've got 6 brand new games out on the same day. I'm just wondering if there was like some research or something that someone did and passed around the games industry. It was like, okay, if you May 23rd, that's the optimal time to release a game after Tears of the Kingdom.
Warner Brothers, they're like, just get this fucker out. In the nicest way. They're just like, get this fucker out. I won't lie, there's only 2 off the top of my head there that are for me. Planet of Lana, Game Pass. Planet of Lana, they'll be fine. And so will Star Trek Research.
All these games will be fine.
Yeah. Star Trek's like right now is booming really high right now. Did you see the leak image?
No.
Did you see the leak image?
No.
Of the crossover.
Stop saying leak image and explain the leak image.
Oh my god. The image that's out there where the Lower Decks crossover event.
Oh, okay. Cool.
There's images.
There's
an image out there. Yeah. Go to Jesse Agenda.
Comes out in less than a month. Planet of Lana is one I'm really looking forward to. It's got its first review. It had an exclusive first review in Edge magazine. So the review embargo is on Tuesday. But they got a review first in the magazine, which came out today, I think.
Okay.
So we got a 9 out of 10 in Edge.
Cool. That's fantastic to hear. It looks breathtaking.
I'm looking forward to this game so much. Like, add it to the pile. I swear to God, sometime in 2023, you're going to get a podcast which is just Amy reviews 10 games that she finally got around to playing.
That's going to be the end of the year. The final episode of the year.
Yeah, it's just here's all the games Amy managed to get around to. Star Trek Resurgence is a Star Trek game, so I'm going to play it no matter what. I
am intrigued. I'm very much intrigued. Like, we haven't had a good Star Trek game for a while.
Since 2017.
I wonder, did you see that the Expanse got a release date?
I did. Did you see that it's episode 1 and they're going to release the episodes every 2 weeks and everybody's going to forget about it when they're waiting for all the episodes to come out so they can play the game as a full game?
Because that's what happened. I can't do anything about that.
Because that's what happened to Life is Strange 2 and every game that's tried this release model in the past few years.
Well, I can't do anything about that.
I'm not aiming that at you. I'm aiming that just in general. When I saw that it was episode 1, I was like, I'm going to completely forget to play this game. Fucking great. Just give me the whole game.
Trust me, I will fucking text you. Every time an episode comes out, and I'll tell you, you must play this because we will review each episode.
All right, okay,
it's
coming out in. All right, we're gonna fucking. You want to fucking derail this podcast? Let's derail this podcast. All right, fine.
Wait, when have I not derailed this podcast?
Episode 1 is coming out in the middle of July, right?
Yeah.
How many episodes is there?
Probably 5.
So you say there's 5 episodes that come out every 2 weeks. So the final episode will come out around about the end of August.
Yeah.
So have a look in the calendar at what's happening at the end of August in terms of video games release.
Moody,
I'm not playing this fucking game because at the end of August, every fucking game that I want to play is coming out.
Yeah, well, guess it's going to be my favorite game.
If they just released the fucking game in July as a full fucking game instead of doing this stupid fucking episodic release model that hasn't worked since the first season of The Walking Dead.
I don't disagree with you. I think you're right.
I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at them. I want to be very clear about this.
But saying that you won't play, I think you're making excuses for yourself.
I know myself. I have never played an episodic game for fucking years. Life is Strange True Colors was the last episodic game that I ever played because they were fucking smart enough to release the whole game at once.
I will help you.
No one will be able to help me, Moody.
I will help you.
Good luck with that.
I will help you.
My therapist hasn't been able to do it, and so I doubt you're going to be able to do it.
Well, God loves a trier.
I just wish they'd fuck off with this bloody episodic model.
OpenCritic Head-To-Head, Amy. Let's go.
It's time for OpenCritic Head-To-Head. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the upcoming average of video games. Last week, whoever guessed... my back's starting to really hurt now. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets a point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of humanity out on PlayStation platforms and PC and PS Plus. I guessed it we get a 78. Moody guessed it we get a 65. And at the time of recording, humanity has an OpenCritic average of 85, which gives Amy the point and puts the scores at Amy 14, Moody 6, with 1 draw. Good game, apparently.
Apparently, that's fantastic to hear and everything. So it's like it's on the PlayStation thing. So
PS Plus,
yeah,
middle tier.
yeah. I think I've got the highest tier, so I'll be able to get it if I wanted to give
I
it a
wish
try.
they had named those tiers like the way that they
Stupid
had.
thing.
Yeah, the 2 tiers with that begin with the same letter. So I constantly get them mixed up in my head. If they just named it something that started with a different letter, I'd be able to remember it.
That is true.
But yeah, it's the middle tier. You can
Here's
download it.
PlayStation don't like doing things that in a good, simple way.
None of
The
them
only
do.
thing they've done simple is naming their consoles. PlayStation,
Yeah.
PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4,
we got
PlayStation 5.
3 major console manufacturers. They're the only ones that figured that out, that you could just add a number at the end of it.
Nintendo went crazy at the beginning. Nintendo, the NES, the Super NES, the N64, the Wii.
Well, the N64 made sense because that was all the polygon. What was it? The bit rate, the bit, because it was a 16-bit,
Yeah, I
32-bit.
think so.
They used to
the
differentiate the generations by the bits, so that made sense. The GameCube made less sense.
I forgot about the GameCube.
Now, literally, yeah, sure, it's a cube that plays game. That was literally what it was, so that made sense. Then they brought out the Wii. And I get their reasoning why they called it the Wii. It was because the 2 eyes resembled the 2 Wii remote controllers. Like, that was what the reasoning that they brought out. But it's still called the Wii. Which, amazing. Never changed Nintendo. Do you want to guess some OpenCritic average scores?
Let's go for it, Amy. Let's go for it.
I've picked 3 games for next week, and we're going to start with The Lord of the Rings Gollum. Now, Moody, you're quite far behind at this point. So I'm going to offer you a choice. Do you want to go first, or do you want to go second this week?
Second, baby.
Okie dokie. I like you sticking to the T guns on that one. The Lord of the Rings Gollum. There's only one thing I'm going to guess, because I'm taking this not seriously at all. I don't take the game seriously at all. Like, of all of the characters in The Lord of the Rings, and I don't, that I thought I would play a video game starring this character, Gollum did not cross my mind. I did not want to play fucking Gollum, all right? But I'm going with a 69, because I'm mature.
60!
And I'm wearing cat ears. That has nothing to do with my guess. I just wanted to let the audio listeners know that I put cat ears on halfway through the podcast.
Because I'm wearing mouse ears.
Electric rat ears.
No, electric mouse. He's an electric mouse.
Sure. I'm going to call him a rat. Well, either way. Nothing you can do about it. Stop me. Stop me.
Pick your next score, Amy.
Next up, we're going to guess the OpenCritic average of Convergence, a League of Legends story. Now, there's just one small problem with this, and that I don't know which one this is. Because there's a bunch of different League of Legends games being developed. And this one is a 2D platformer. Huh. Didn't even know this was happening. Being developed by Double Stallion. What else have you released? Speed Brawl. Cool. Never heard of them. I'm gonna go. Where's my mouse cursor? There it is. 71. I don't know anything about this game or its developer, but I know what League of Legends is.
73.
734. No, that's a typo. And lastly, we're going to try and guess the OpenCritic average of Star Trek Resurgence. I'm thinking. You're looking at me like, oh, you say your number. I'm thinking. You used to drag this shit out for 10 minutes sometimes last year when you went first. You can give me a minute.
I think it's funny that you started talking and whining about me when I never even said a word. Never even pulled a face, just so you know. Yeah.
You looked at me.
I look at you all the time throughout the entire podcast.
You were like, hurry up, man. And I was like,
all right, fine. I'll look over here.
What's over there?
A white wall.
Just didn't feel like decorating that wall, no?
No.
Fair. That's fair. Can I make a suggestion?
No.
Fairy lights. I don't know why you thought saying no would stop me. It pains me to do this because it's Star Trek. And I'm going to play it anyway. 66. I have seen trailers for this game all the way since, they first revealed it. And I've looked at it and I've wanted to like it. And I hope it's good. I hope I'm wrong. But I haven't liked anything I've seen about this game. For me personally, in what I've seen of the trailers.
70.
70.
I just think the critics won't give a fuck.
Critics never give a fuck. Is it Zelda? No. And we're not doing Planet of Lana because, like I said, it's got a reviewing edge, so we're not touching it. But hopefully very high. Someone has it in Fantasy Critic. And speaking of Fantasy Critic, can we tell them, Moody? Can we tell them now? I want to tell them.
Tell them then.
I'm going to tell them. I'm opening the page up. Also, something very weird happened last week, and I need to talk about it on OpenCritic because I need to set the story straight for something that happened that I don't think anybody noticed, but I did, and I have to come clean about it. But first, Fantasy Critic. This is the game we've been playing all year, that we will be playing all through the year, where we build fantasy teams out of video games. And if you don't know any of the history and backstory, while Moody swings his little balls around, if you don't know the history and backstory of our Fantasy Critic, we play with this guy called Russ, also known as Loxtail, and he finishes last every year. He starts last, stays last, and finishes last. That's just his curse. He always manages to pick a game that will fucking destroy him every year pretty quickly. But this year, he picked the game first, and I believe I threatened him with, if you don't pick Legend of Zelda, I'm going to block you on every social media platform. I believe those were the words that I used. I'd have to check the podcast back. Anyway, he did that. So now the person who was always in last is now in first. He's in first, Moody. Look. You can't see it because it's bad camera, but that's him.
I know.
And then me, and then you, and then everybody else.
Yep. And then by the end of it, it'll just be you and me, like it should be.
Nah, it'll just be me. Just me, all by myself, like last time. Be like, come on, guys, keep up. Even I don't believe that.
It's gonna be interesting.
Right now, it's a close field. Right now,
yeah. Like, well, you're 5 points behind him. I'm 10 points behind him. It's really, really close, and like we've all got games coming out over the next couple of weeks, so it's like, yeah, it's gonna be really fun.
It's already really fun, and like I say, I just love the idea that Russ is first.
That's gonna be fun, but I'm gonna laugh even more if he finishes last.
I don't think he can. Looking at the games of a certain other competitor, I don't think it's mathematically possible.
Yeah, Elf's royally fucked herself up. I don't even think she's picking stuff, man.
She's finished. No. She's filled her entire team.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she generally, if you noticed, it was a few weeks ago on Fantasy Critic where fucking 10 bids came through and they were all hers. She picked her counter pick as well. She got Persona 6, which I went for, but she bid more for.
But you took Dragon Age.
Well, see, I don't feel good about this. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because, so once I failed with Persona 6, I was like, all right, I need a counter pick because otherwise I'm just going to psych myself out. And I looked through everybody's games. And like, I wanted to pick one of the Mario games because I was like, I'm pretty sure there's no Mario games that can't come out. But then maybe one will. What if one does? And then I was like, well, which one could it be? Oh, well, it'll definitely only be the 2D one. But there hasn't been a 3. And you know when you just start talking yourself in circles? And I was like, right, you know what? I'm not going to pick either of them. And then I saw Dragon Age and I was like, I'll pick Dragon Age. Mint. Bid on it. Went to bed. Left it. So the bids go through on a Thursday. And from that point on, they become public. So that anyone could look and go, oh shit, someone's bidding on this. I'll bid on it. What happened was, I put the bid in, forgot all about it, went back on Friday to check it, see what everyone else had bid on. No one else had bid on anything. And then I saw a news story afterwards. Dragon Age Dreadwolf has been seemingly delayed. So before I had the game, but I couldn't delete my bid. Because once it goes locked in on Thursday, you can't. So I feel a little bit like I just kind of got that one for free because it was it seems like it's a sure thing that I'm gonna get the counter pick come off as 0 points. So I did want to just say like, look, right, that there wasn't anything I could do about it. Okay.
Yeah, true. Can't you delete it?
I mean, I could, but I'm not going.
Yeah. I thought so. Yeah.
My conscience isn't clear. But it's not that bad. I don't feel that bad about it.
Yeah. Like, I'm tempted to delete the Suicide Squad and everything.
I don't think you can.
But you can delete counter picks.
I don't think you can drop counter picks. When you say delete it, I mean delete it. I could have deleted it.
I meant drop.
Like we've done with...
yeah. I thought you could. Never mind.
No, even if you could drop counter picks, you won't be able to drop it because it's already been confirmed as not coming out.
Yeah, true. All right, it's not important.
But yeah, I just want to clarify that. Like, I didn't know it was delayed, but it was technically delayed before I got it in my team. But it wasn't my fault, and I'm not deleting it because I don't feel that bad about it. Plus, it'll probably fucking come out now.
We'll find out. I think we'll find out in June. If we don't see it in June, it ain't coming out. This is true. That's for me straight away. Like, tell you what else is coming out? Oh Lord, it's never coming out. I'm gonna have to pick Hollow Knight every year until the end of my days. For me, them not picking a window, that tells me they're hoping to still get it out this year. They just don't want to say it anymore. They don't want to say a window and out because they know how many times this has been delayed and everything. Like in COVID and everything like that, we can appreciate that and everything. But now, like what they're saying, like it's got so big that it's like, which is great. That's fantastic. I can only imagine you playing it and you're just going fucking bonkers and losing yourself in it, and that's amazing. I'm excited to see you actually finally play this game and enjoy yourself with it, and that's the thing I'm more excited for. And like, I would hate this game to come out and it be broken. So, like, well, like I just won't play it on PC. Take your sweet ass. Take your sweet ass time to the developer, and everyone's looking forward to your game. Oh, the fuck! If Nintendo's place can wait 2 years for the delay of freaking Zelda, they can wait another year for this. There's always something to play, so it's fine. That's true. I'm just memeing. I'm making a meme of my own. I played this game in 2019, Moody. I know. I can't do it with Dead Island anymore. You remember the old video? I played Dead Island in 2014. It came out now. Yeah. It's nothing like the game that I played, but it is out now. Yeah. Who knew that would be more popular than Redfall? I know. No one. Insane. No one said that. Well, let's get the hell out of here, amigos. I've been standing for too long, and I want to go and sit down and say hello to my partner. Holy shit. Dead Island 2 could be the best PC port of the year so far.
Like, sorry, I know you want to go and you need to sit down.
I do.
But it just dawned on me that of all the AAA games that have come out on PC in 2023, Dead Island 2 might be the most functional.
It might be indeed. And with that point, we're done. See you later, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe, play video games, be awesome, live long and prosper.
Bye.